Hello and welcome back to the Squared Circle with me, Mr. David Aloka.
And me, Joe Orgula.
That is right, guys. Right off the rip, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the like button, and let us know what you want to hear from us in the comments below. We got a big one today, as you can see from the title, from the thumbnail, and from the description. It looks like it's all going down July 12th, Wembley Stadium. Undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dynamite Dubois, number 2. Hey, listen, I am hyped for this. It hasn't been announced, but obviously the Ring magazine are reporting that talks have begun. That's the date. That's the location. Joe, talk to me about how you are excited about this one.
Alright, bro, I am extremely excited, lads and ladies. Bruv, Usyk is my favourite fighter, and my man is coming again to London, coming again to UK to conquer once again. The Alexander the Great, the modern day conqueror, as you know I love to call him. He is coming to take Daniel Dubois' belt. That should be his. And great move. I think that's the only fight for Alexander Usyk left, in my opinion. Because one thing I respect about Alexander Usyk, David, is that Undisputed is not just a title for him. It's not just the belts. He does want no dispute in his reign as one of the best fighters of all time. And what's the only dispute that Alexander Usyk has left is that low blow against Daniel Dubois. And he knows that if he retires, people are going to say, oh, Daniel Dubois got him. He should have been taking the belts away from Daniel Dubois. Now, nah. Although a lot of people, like myself, love to remember and mention what happened after that low blow. What did Usyk do? Knock him out with a jab. But still, people don't want to acknowledge that. So Alexander Usyk is coming in, trying to make himself a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. First has never been done in the 4-belt era. Now he's going to try and do it twice, which will be a record, in my opinion, that will take quite a while to break. Right move for Alexander Usyk. Right move for Daniel Dubois. And to be honest, bro, as you can tell, I'm just extremely excited for it, man.
Listen, the gas is real. The excitement is real. What I'm super excited about, even more so, is the fact that it's happening, or reportedly happening, at Wembley Stadium, the national stadium. I would say the home of boxing. If the UK is the home of boxing, and I think currently, right now, globally, the UK is the place for boxing, everybody knows it. That's the truth. Okay, Saudi know it. The people down in the US know it. You know, I had a conversation with Radio Raheem, and he was like, I got to move to the UK. He lives in the UK now. Okay, he ain't even in the States anymore. He lives in the UK because the UK is the home of boxing, and in the national stadium, which is supposed to be the home of football, has been overtaken as the home of boxing, thanks to the likes of Carl the Cobra Froch and his 80,000 that he brought to Wembley, which was then superseded by Anthony Joshua. And now we get to see Alexander Usyk in the National Stadium for the first time, fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Not only is it historic, but the heavyweight championship of the world is going to be going down on the shores of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland for the first time ever. So much history, so much truth, so much greatness in the sport of boxing. And look, it's going to be a fight and a half. I mean, you know, like you said, that's the only area of dispute that he's had in his career so far is that low blow that some people are calling a low blow. Some people are saying that it weren't a low blow. And then you've got Daniel Dynamite Dubois, the most improved fighter, the fighter that believes in himself, that has confidence, that speaks with his chest now, you know, that has a trainer behind him that believes in him, that drives him, that pushes him, whose dad is in his corner and believes that this is his time, you know. You know what? One of the yesterday I was on Twitter, and it was like, say something that comes from the UK that lives rent free in your head, and there was a video of Daniel Dubois right before he fought Big Baby Villa, and I remember it was like, you know, he was in Saudi Arabia, and it was like, this is Africa. We slay lions here. It's like,
Seeing
brother.
that, seeing that, I was joking.
It's
Oh,
not now, but this is Africa. This is Saudi Arabia. But you know what I'm saying? At the same time, it's like that was the beginning, the birthplace of the confidence that of Daniel Dubois. After the questions, after so many people were looking and thinking, okay, what is going to come of this guy? There was so much promise of him, but the losses that he had made people weary. He then crowned himself in the fight against Miller, and then the fight against Hergovic, and was then elevated as the IBF champion thanks to Usyk. But this indeed could be Usyk's doing in order to make history. He relinquished one of those belts just so he can get it back. You understand what I'm saying? Gave the belt away so he could then reestablish himself in history again. It is going to be exciting. It's going to be fireworks in this one. And I know Usyk is your fighter. I know one of your favorite fighters, or even your most favorite fighter.
good
But
man.
this fight is going to be incredible. It's going to be electrifying.
100%. Usyk is my favorite fighter of all time. I know I've mentioned this multiple times on here. But you know what? Just quickly talking about Usyk relinquishing that belt. What he's done, rather than making one big payday with Fury, he's made two big paydays now by relinquishing that belt, because he got that payday with Fury back in December. Now he's going to fight Dubois, make another massive payday for Undisputed. This was the only fight. Now, I know we have a few Joseph Parker fans on the channel. Although I would like to see Parker fight Usyk. Usyk can't fight everyone again and again and again. Like he's just getting old now. So the only move for Alexander Usyk was Daniel Dubois. And it's a bit ironic because we're seeing the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship of the world on British soil, right? The irony is that we always thought it would be AJ Fury for that, but it's actually Usyk Dubois. So like, you can never predict anything in this world, innit? Like, we always thought if it's gonna happen, Undisputed, it's gonna be AJ Fury at Wembley. Do you know what I mean? But really, really gassed about it. Daniel Dubois. Now, a lot of people will say, and a lot of people have said on the TikTok and other social media platforms, that Daniel Dubois purposely called in sick to avoid that Parker fight, to make sure he fights Usyk, because apparently Daniel Dubois was the only Alexander Usyk was the only fight for Daniel Dubois. That was the only fight that Daniel Dubois wanted, and a lot of people feel like he ducked Parker. What's your response to that?
Yeah, people would think that would be the case, but I don't think so. It's similar to that Majimov situation when he had that fight on the undercard of Usyk Fury, and then that situation didn't happen, and then he went to go and fight Virgil Ortiz. It's like there's there's always going to be speculation surrounding things like that when somebody pulls out a fight. There's speculation surrounding Lawrence Okoli because he pulled out of the fight with Richard Riakporhe, and now he's talking about Dillian White. The speculation that could be the case, and the reason that's all. Listen, there's speculation everywhere. However, I think that the modus operandi of Daniel Dubois right now is, I don't think he's out here doing this dodging maneuver. I think right now Daniel Dubois is on all the smoke. He wants the
Right.
smoke and he wants the glory. His balls has dropped. He is announced himself onto the world stage with that fight with Anthony Joshua, and his confidence is going in leaps and bounds. And many people across boxing believe that he has a chance against Alexander Usyk, because he has the mindset that isn't probably going to pay attention to Usyk's tricks and his gameplay. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. He's in that. I think he's somebody who can rise above that the psychological game from that perspective. And I just think genuinely it's very exciting. I can't wait till we're sitting here and having a conversation and having a conversation about the fact that it's signed, it's sealed, it's delivered, and it's actually happening. But the confidence that we have in these reports is that it was reported by Ring Magazine. And the fact that it was reported by Ring Magazine is not just some joke publication anymore. Ring Magazine is owned by one of or I should say, the most influential man in boxing, the person that's in the know, the one who controls everything that's going down right now, Turkey Al Sheikh. So, what I'm saying, is that when we hear something from Ring Magazine, we better pay attention.
100. And you know what? I actually owe you an apology as well. You know when I said about Turkey saying good luck, you was right. I double checked it. It was actually about Usyk Dubois at Wembley. Now, Turkey Al Sheikh did say when reports were first made that Usyk and Dubois will fight in Wembley Stadium, Turkey did a funny response saying good luck, which David did mention in the other video, but I thought it was Parker. There was a bit of misunderstanding there, but apologies, my guy. Yeah, so what do you think Turkey, Turkey was smug, basically saying like that ain't gonna happen by saying good luck in a confident way. How do you think he's feeling right now? Do you reckon they're doing this without Turkey, or do you reckon Turkey's gonna put a Ring Magazine card over there?
I don't think Ring Magazine can do everything or should do everything in boxing. That's the reality. So initially, when I saw the post being made, I think a week ago, and Turkey had commented saying good luck, I just thought, wow, that's very cheeky, and I thought it sounds a little bit sour from that perspective. I don't know what Turkey had wanted. I think people think that Turkey was. I think there were some reports that Turkey was still pissed at Daniel Dubois because he pulled out the Parker fight, and obviously Turkey had to spend big money on getting my man over about 3 days or 4 days of traveling. You see what I'm saying? For Bakoli to make it over to Saudi. So people were saying that Turkey is still pissed down the bar surrounding that. So I think that's the essence of the good luck that people were looking at. But I think it's good that Turkey isn't involved in everything in boxing, especially everything that's big. Big things should still be going on. Big things should still happen with or without Turkey Al Sheikh. I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for the health of the sport if it doesn't. And plus, he sponsors all of these promotional companies anyway. Or I think say he does, but also Riyadh Season does in any case. So no matter what, there's some degree of play in it. But Rav, I'm happy. I'll be even more happy. Funny thing is, I'd love it, of course, for Turkey to be involved, but I'll be even more happy if he isn't. Simply because it shows the state of health in boxing. And health in boxing means there needs to be more players in the sport that are capable of delivering big fights.
100%. I do think a dictatorship is never great for a sport, boxing or any type of form of life, innit? But I'm actually very surprised because I felt Alexander Usyk will, end his career with Turkey Al Sheikh. So I always felt this fight would go to Riyadh. So I'm actually really surprised that it's not going to Riyadh this time. We're talking like it's done, but it's just because of excitement, guys. Just to make sure it's actually not done yet, but it looks like it will be done, right? Just to let you know before people will say, "Oh, you guys are clickbait." No, it's reported, but it looks like it's going to be done, innit? And I'm really gassed that it's at Wembley Stadium. I hope we get a stacked undercard. Do you see a stacked undercard? Because with a Riyadh Season back in or a Ring Magazine back in, you're going to get a good undercard. But back in the days with the match rooms and Queensberry cards, when they did do it at Wembley with Tyson Fury or AJ, usually the undercard is, but it's not like heavy like a Riyadh Season card. So do you expect a good stacked undercard? Do you expect a subpar undercard on there?
I expect a decent undercard, not an electric. Oh my gosh, it's the best card ever type of undercard. I expect it to be okay. I expect there to be some names that we know of, that we know well. I think you might get a Hamza Shiraz on the undercard, for example. But I'm not expecting like the card to set the world alight simply because I know all of the money is going to the top of the card.
And lastly, who goes in? Well, actually, that's a silly question. But do you think Daniel Dubois will be showing, spells of dominance in that fight?
Yeah, I reckon Dubois will show. Will have areas where he's going to be dominating the fight. I'm sure there's going to be areas where he's going to hurt Alexander Usyk. He's powerful. That's the truth of the matter is. And I think there's a period of time where he lost that about him. He forgot how powerful and dominating he can be. And I think now he knows and he believes in it and he can see it. And, he knows that he's got lethal hands. If he tags Alexander Usyk, it's just about being able to get him. If he manages to get Alexander Usyk a few times, Alexander will feel it, and we're in for a very, 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 very good fight.
Look, I'm gonna say something that might be controversial to a lot of people, but in my opinion, Usyk is already a top 10 heavyweight fighter of all time, and he's probably one of the best fighters of all time. Definitely one of the best fighters of all time. But it's weird because I think he's got more of a shout being a top 15, top 10 fighter of all time than being a top 5 heavyweight. But if Usyk beats Dubois, I think it's time to add him into the top 5 heavyweights of all time. Now, I know people put him like in the mid area of the top 10 heavyweights or bottom, but I think he's got shouts maybe over someone like Mike Tyson, George Foreman, and I know RIP George Foreman, but look, I know people are going to be jumping on me at that, but we have to see what this man has done in his career. So maybe Alexander Usyk creeps into the top 5 heavyweight of all time if he beats
Look at you trying to make. Look at you trying. Listen, you politician. I look at you trying to wheeze. I see what's going on, guys. Let us know what you think, about what Joe's just said in the comments below. I think we're going to have a separate discussion about where does Usyk fit in the heavyweights and in the greatest fighters of all time. Personally, right before we roll out, I just think a fighter is all about how you make people feel. And I know how Usyk makes you feel, but I don't know if that same affinity runs with the masses. But guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty of videos coming for your head top. I've been David Loka.
I've been Joe Ojala.
You've been watching The Squared Circle, and we'll see you again next time.
See you later, guys.